Hello and welcome to the Keep Your Cool Mama podcast, where we are encouraging the everyday mom to pursue her dreams and discover her own greatness. Hey cool mamas, this is Sheilah and you are listening to episode 26 of the Keep Your Cool Mama podcast. Hey girl, how you doing? How are you feeling? Of course, I do hope that you're feeling good from the inside out and just sending all good energy, all good thoughts your way. And welcome back. We're here for episode 26. Today is an episode that I want to talk to you guys about auditing your life. This is something that I've heard about before. Something that I think is very important, especially for moms to do, because of how just life is just changing constantly when you have children, and how when we're so focused on our children, we get so focused that we forget about looking at our lives, looking around to see, are there things that need to change? And how we're feeling and things of that nature. And I'm actually in the process of completing my own life audit, and I wanted to bring you guys along on the journey. So I guess the first question to ask is, how do you know you should do a life audit? I've heard that this is something that you should do weekly, monthly, yearly, however it works into your life, but it should be something that you look at on a consistent basis and evaluate. So, but for the sake of this particular episode, I want you to think about it as, if you know that you want more for your life, but you're just not sure where to start. That would be a good question to ask yourself. Is this how I'm feeling? You know you want more, but you're just not sure where to start. A life audit is a very good place to start on that particular journey. So when you are not sure of where you should start, the best place to start is first, after you ask yourself that question and you realize, yes, that's me, I need this. Then you start asking yourself pivotal life questions that will help you to get to the root of it all. The only way to get to an answer is to ask a question first, right? That's how it starts. You ask a question, you get an answer. Some answers take a little longer to be revealed, but I would say that it's completely worth it, completely worth the time, completely worth the effort, and completely worth your patience, because it will take some patience on your part. But your life will change for the better when you take the time to ask yourself questions and start to figure out how to get those answers as you move along. So the change that you are seeking will only happen when you know what needs to change. Once you know what needs to change, you can then figure out what course of action to take. Because I know that can be overwhelming, thinking like, okay, Sheilah, I have all of these questions. I have all of these wants, all of these needs, but I don't know how to go about it. It's just too much. It's too overwhelming. I totally understand. When you just start with one question and you read books, you talk to people, you pray, of course, those answers will start to come to you. Now, this process that I'm speaking of, as I talked to you in the beginning of the podcast about auditing your life, this is a life audit. Asking yourself questions, and based on those answers, deciding what areas of your life should change or even stay the same. So I definitely want you to consider this if you are in a place in your life where you just feel stuck and you don't know where to go, what direction to take. Start with the questions. And like I said, I'm actually in the process of giving my own life an audit. And because I've noticed certain things that have been happening in my life that I am just not okay with, if I'm completely honest with you guys. And this has given me the desire to change some more aspects of my life. I've heard of a life audit, as I said before, and I always wanted to take a deeper dive into it. The self work that I've done already, excuse me, the self work that I've done already, I have done so far is allowed me to become more self aware. And now that I'm more self aware, it's time for me to dig deeper and start inspecting. I hope I said that right. For some reason, I thought I didn't. It's time for me to start inspecting my life from the inside out, right? We always talk about from the inside out. Now that I am more aware of what I want and what I need, um, I feel more ready than ever to do a life audit, because the life audit will then reveal more of what I want and what I need and I wasn't really aware of before. There are completely endless questions that you can ask yourself when starting a life audit. It really is so many that you can start, and the ones that you start can stem off to a lot of other different questions. The questions will cover a wide spectrum of life in general. And I found some online that I am going to start with. And I actually want to share them with you guys today. I'll share the link to the questions in the show notes of the podcast so that you can have the link there. But also I want you to know that of course you should always do your own research when doing things like this. Don't just take my word for it. Let talking to me be the start of your own research if you've never heard of a life audit. But it's definitely nothing wrong with you clicking that link, taking a look at those questions, reading the article that's attached, and seeing if it's something that you want to partake in at this time in your life. But always, always, always do your own research on top of listening to my podcast. Let that be a part of your research. So I'm going to be honest and say that life questions often can make me feel a little overwhelmed at times. So I have been known to abandon the questions and tell myself I will come back to it later. Like, girl, this is too much. Because sometimes I just don't necessarily feel like thinking that hard, especially when you've already done so much self-work on yourself day in and day out. It can get exhausting, and sometimes I just need a little break, but I wouldn't come back to it like I should. And I just want to be consistent with it so that I can really see the change that I'm desiring to see. Now, these questions that I found online feel a little less heavy. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited to start the process, and I hope you'll start it with me. These questions really do seem like a great place to start. There are 34 questions. I will read each one to you so that you can see if you will be interested in even clicking the link, and let me know what you guys think. Okay. So number 1, what are my assets and liabilities? And in parentheses, it says not just things, but also personality traits, skills, habits, etc. Number 2, how could I be kinder to or support myself? That's a good question. It's a very good question for moms. And I can't wait to get my journal and answer that question. Number 3, how could I be kinder to or support others? That's also a very good question. They're all good questions. Number 5, do I have 1 to 5 good friends I can trust and count on? Yes. Good question. Number 6, do I feel energized, neutral, or let down about my work, whatever that work is for you? Number 7, am I in good health or pursuing it to the best of my ability? That is actually a question that I'm in the process of answering for myself. And I think as women, we really do need to ask ourselves, are we in good health or pursuing it? Like, are we going to our doctor's appointments? Men too, but we're talking about us right now. Do we go to our doctor's appointments? Are we calling our gynecologist? Are we getting our regular physical checkups, eye exams, all of those things? Because we will call for our kids without even thinking about it. But what about us? Are we in good health and are we pursuing it? Are we exercising, eating right? Very good question to ask. Number 8, do I spend my free time doing a variety of enjoyable activities? Very, very good question. We, especially as moms, we really do not take the time to spend time with ourselves for ourselves. And mom guilt can kick in when it comes to that. And an episode about mom guilt will be coming soon. But I think it's very important for us to have enjoyable times with ourselves and with friends, of course, with our kids and our husbands or whoever, but especially with ourselves, enjoying our own company. And I think the episode, Every Mom Needs a Hobby, that I think that's a good episode to listen to on my podcast, Keep Your Cool Mama, about just doing enjoyable things for yourself. Number 9, let's keep going. What emotion is dominant for me? Good question. Number 10, what do I get excited about consistently? That is a very good question. I think a lot of the times we are like, what am I good at? And things of that nature. That question, that can help you figure out, like, what are you good at? Or what do you have a passion for? What do you want to get better at? Good question to start with for that. Number 11, what core principles, like honesty, do I have, and how does my way of living reflect them? Again, what core principles do I have, and how does my way of living reflect them? Number 12, what do I do with more or less money? How we use our money is definitely a reflection of where we are in life. That's a very good question. Number 13, what am I grateful for and why? Love that question. I think I told you guys that I have a grateful journal that I write in. I didn't do it this month, so I'm glad this question came up. But that I will write in every morning what I'm grateful, 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I think that is a very important question to ask, not just when you're doing a life audit, but a good question to ask yourself every day. And number 14, what do I regret and why? This question can get down to the root. Oh goodness, Sheilah, get down to the root of a lot of emotions that you are feeling, a lot of things that you're reacting to, a lot of your triggers and things of that nature. Good question to ask. That may be a question to sit with for more than a day. Maybe that's a question that you sit with for like the week or the month. That's a very good question to ask. Number 15, how close is what I'm doing professionally to what I dreamed of doing? Very good question. Very good question. I can't wait to start answering these questions, guys. Number 16, am I consistently challenging myself? So important to ask, because it's important that we are constantly challenging ourselves and not just taking the easy way out. Good question. Number 17, what fears do I have? Can't wait to answer this question. Even though I know, I just can't wait to get down to the nitty gritty and just write it all out. What are the top 5 words I think of other? I'm sorry. What are the top 5 words I think others would use to describe me? Number 19. What are the top 5 words I would use to describe myself? Number 20. Are the motivations behind my original goals still present? That is a good question. Oh my gosh. Okay, number 21. What do I feel myself daydreaming about when I'm supposed to be doing other things? Oh, I think us as moms can really relate to that question because I daydream a lot. I daydream a lot about what I want, how am I going to get it, all of that stuff. Number 22, what is my financial or material standard of living and have I achieved it? These are some really good reflection questions, guys. Number 23, what is my current environment? Do I like or dislike? Oh, I totally said that wrong. What in my current environment do I like or dislike? Number 24, how am I influencing others for better or worse? 25, is my income stable? 26, how is my weight? WEIGHT. Yeah, that's me currently asking myself that question. It's not where I want it to be, but I still love myself regardless. But how is my weight? Number 27, do I feel confident in my appearance? We're going to do an episode about that. Me and my sister were just talking about this the other day, but when you look good, you feel good. So yes, do I feel confident in my appearance? Very good question to ask. Number 28, do I feel like I have worth? Number 29, can I do most things with independence and confidence? Yes. Good question. Number 30, am I able to make decisions easily? Oh gosh, my indecisiveness is out of control sometimes. So I can't wait to sit down and get down to the nitty gritty of that and answer that question and have my own little therapy session. Number 31, am I able to lead myself and others spiritually? Awesome question. Number 32, what goals do I have? So this is a good one to reflect on. If you had some goals, you steered away from them, and you want to get back to it, good question to ask. What goals do I have? And if you don't have any, and that's your answer to the question, then what do I want to achieve? And what goal can I set for that? 33, why didn't I meet goals I've previously had? I didn't even see that question before I talked about what I said before. Yes, why didn't I meet the goals I previously had? That is a very good question because that'll get down to the fears. That'll get down to the doubts. It's important to get down to the why of things. Good question. And number 34, the last question on the list, am I engaged in personal development? And I think the key word is engaged. So are you really sticking to developing yourself? Like, of course, I said like reading the books, and not just reading the books, but doing the work after you read the books, praying more, doing more of what it is that you want to do better. And I would say that answering these questions would be you being engaged in your personal development. I would say that. I would also say that you listening to this podcast is you engaging in your personal development. So just some questions for you guys to think about. I really hope that you will join me. We'll circle back later, maybe in the summertime, and I'll let you know how it's going for me answering these questions. I'm definitely not rushing it. I definitely want to take my time. So I hope that you will take your time as well to answer the questions. Maybe do one a week, two a week, or one a month, however you want to do it. There's no rush. There are 52 weeks in a year. And I think that we can, if we do, maybe we could just get half of the list done for the rest of the year. And that'll be us being engaged in our personal development. So, again, I thank you guys for listening, and I hope this episode was helpful. I hope that, again, that you will join me. If you do enjoy this podcast, please rate, and please leave me a review on Apple Podcasts. Rate with the stars so I can see how you guys are enjoying the podcast. Share with another mom that you think would enjoy and benefit from the content. Let's see what else. I say all of this at the end of the podcast anyway, but I want to say it just in case you don't get to the part when I sing. So, yes, just share, rate, review, all of that beautiful stuff. Come back next week. I love you guys. I thank you for listening, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye. Before I let you go, seriously, before I let you go, please subscribe and leave a review with 5 stars if this podcast is inspiring you and helping you to grow. Let's spread the positivity so that we are visible to other mamas out there trying to find her own greatness. And if you need some advice or guidance regarding your own personal growth while tackling motherhood, please email me at keepyourcoolmama@gmail.com. Love you guys.